Hello and welcome everyone to another Q's Views video. Today we're moving along with the third edition books, and of course last time was the Monster Manual. Today it's Monster Manual 2. And like I said, there is a differentiation between, if I remember right, between third edition and 3.5 edition books. So we'll go ahead and get started with this book from the third edition series. Let's get started. And as always, in my opinion, a very, very beautiful cover to this book. I really like the themes, even the ones that don't have actual monsters on the cover. I tend to like the designs. I know some people didn't, but of course, not everything is everyone's cup of tea. But for me, this was pretty cool, actually. All right, here we have the introduction and main statistics block, and of course, what all the different animals types are, typical creature statistics by type. For example, we have the aberration, animal, beast, construct, dragon, elemental, fey, giant, humanoid, magical beast, monstrous humanoid, ooze, outsider, plant, shape changer, undead, and vermin. Pretty interesting how they subcategorize the different creatures, monsters, and beasts. And here's a greater breakdown of each one. Amount of hit dice, their base attacks, skill points, saves, feats, all that stuff can be found. Even their sizes. Like right here we have a small chart on ooze size and the bonus hit points they get due to their size. Same thing with the vermin on the following page. Pretty cool. Damage, proved abilities, special qualities, saves and abilities, basically all kinds of stuff to help you understand, utilize, organize the various creatures and monsters within these books to the fullest extent. So you want to get the most out of these creatures. I highly recommend that you read through these sections of the books. Unless you have some kind of really good homebrew way of using these creatures, I would say, and even then I would say you'd want to get familiar with all these sub-statistical information just so that way you can better utilize these creatures. Here we have the Abiel, which are like a bee type race. Pretty crazy. And like the previous books, I'm not going to go through each one specifically, but just some of the ones that I mostly use, or the ones that I wanted to use but hadn't yet. Automatons. And while I admit I've never used this creature, I think it's pretty interesting design. Definitely a different kind of looking creature. Banshees are always interesting to use. And I've never used the Bladeling. They look like a pretty cool monster to use, though. Another creature I've never used is the Bone Ooze. But they look like something that would be a party destroyer for sure. I mean, 20 D10 plus 210. 20 D10 hit dice plus 210 for 320 hit points. Geez, and all kinds of crazy things. Damage abilities, their attacks. Plus 26 for a melee attack. That's crazy. Challenge rating 21. Yeah, that's a party destroyer right there, as far as I'm concerned. Some really cool designs as far as I'm concerned. And here we have an even crazier picture of the Catoblepas than we've seen before. I thought some of the previous ones were pretty good, and I think they still are, but this one is really crazy. I really get the idea of the murkiness and kind of like the bogs that they come from, and how they kind of really match their indigenous environment. And here we have all these different clockwork horrors. The Electrum horror, gold horror, platinum horror, adamantine, basically based off the ores. Dark tentacles, death bringers. And here we get into the demon world with the abyssal maws, the abyssal skulkers, and the abyssal ravager. The Jovok, the Paltrathi, and the Zolvat. The Jaralith and the Kelvazu. Some really crazy looking creatures. And some really cool artwork. Even the black and white artwork for me has been really good in this book. There's not much of it, but what they do use, it's pretty good. Here we have the different types of bats: hunting bat, guard bat, war bat. And then, of course, we have our different devil breakdown from this particular book. The Advespa, the Amnezu, and the Malbrank, or the Batazu, which have been used in previous books many times over. And another excellent piece of art depicting each one of these. And of course, what D&D creature monster book would be complete without dinosaurs? Cryptoclitus, Allosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus, Seismosaurus, and Spinosaurus. And we're going to move through a series of different various regular animals, well, dire versions of these animals. And now we move into one of my favorite aspects, of course, always, is dragons. And we have the gem dragons, the amethyst, the crystal, the emerald, the sapphire, and the topaz. And then we also move into the Dread Guard, which kind of reminds me of another kind of version of the Death Knight. Elemental Weirds. Some more great artwork. Here we have some cool depictions of the crested felldrake, the spitting felldrake, and the horned felldrake, along with the fiend worm. And for me, one of the grossest creatures in all of these books, the flesh jelly. Yeah. Here we are moving into giants. Here we have the forest giant and the sun giant, the ocean giant and the mountain giant. All right, now we're going to move into Glimmerskin and various golems. For this particular book, we have the stained glass golem, the brass golem, and the dragon flesh golem. All very cool in my opinion. Now, all the artwork in this book for me is pretty cool, but I definitely think that the artwork for the Grell is superior to the artwork for the Green Vise. Although I will say they are both effective at depicting what they're trying to illustrate. Hook horrors have been fun creatures to use in campaigns. I will say that. And I really like this art depiction of the hook horror. The Juggernaut, that's always been a crazy creature. The huge construct. And then we have our legendary animals, the eagle, the ape, the wolf, snake, horse, bear, tiger, and shark. And of course, one of my favorite creatures of all time, the Leviathan. And here we have the Lenorm, which are dragonkin. You have the gray, the dread, and the corpse. Huge, colossal, and gargantuan dragons, as they're listed. Another excellent piece of artwork. Meanlock and Megalodons are both fun to use in campaigns. We have our Myconids, Junior Worker, Average Worker, and Elder Worker. The Guard, Circle Leader, and the Sovereign. And here we have an interesting picture depicting your different Myconids. Various Needlefolk, the Spawn, the Adult, and the Great Old Master. The Orc Wart, Phase Wasps and Phoenixes are always fun to use in campaigns. And then we go, of course, move on to the Plain Touched. This time we're dealing with the Kaond and the Zenithri. Another piece of simple yet effective black and white art. The Rogue Eidolon, and the Rukarazo. Another crazy, strange, interesting looking creature. And of course, what campaign setting would there be water-based without the Siren? Spawn of Caius, Spellweaver, Spellgaunt, Spirit of the Land. Some interesting artwork and the variations thereof, as both of these look completely different from each other. But then we have this picture right here, which doesn't even look like a piece of artwork. I mean, it looks like it was a photo taken. So, looks cool though. And here we have our 3 Green and our Twig Blight and the Vaporayu. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. Someone can correct me, I'm sure, if I'm wrong. Yak Folk. Or here we have our Yugoloth. The various versions. Fantastic picture, by the way. Excellent picture for the Death Knight. Half Golems, Monster of Legend, samples of Monster Legend as well as the Spell Stitched, Tauric, Titanic creatures. Of course, these are creatures of super immense size. As we can see a humanoid there next to the Titanic looking frog beast, as well as the War Beast, as well as some other cool stuff. Open game license information, and of course, monsters ranked by challenge rating. And there you have it, the 3rd edition Monster Manual 2. Even Greater Threats Await, by Ed Bonney, Jeff Grubb, Rich Redmond, Skip Williams, and Steve Winter. As heroes grow in power, they seek out more formidable adversaries, whether sinister or seductive, ferocious or foul. The creatures lurking within these pages will challenge the most experienced characters of any campaign. This supplement for the D&D game unleashes a horde of monsters to confront characters at all levels of play, including several with challenge ratings of 21 or higher. Inside are old favorites such as the Death Knight and the Gem Dragons, as well as all new creatures such as the Bronze Serpent, the Effigy, and the Fiend Worm, along with updated and expanded monster creation rules. Monster Manual 2 provides an inexhaustible source of ways to keep even the toughest heroes fighting and running for their lives. Alright, so that concludes our coverage of the 3rd edition Monster Manual 2. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to stop by and to watch this video. Thank you for your comments. Let me know down below what creatures were your favorite to use. Which ones were your least favorite? Were there some creatures you wanted to use but never got the chance to? Or what do you think creatures that you think should have been included in this book that wasn't? Or are there some creatures you think they could have left out? Let's have that discussion in the comment section down below. I do look forward to seeing what each and every one of you has to say. I do read all comments and I do respond to all comments as much as I possibly can. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next videos. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Be well. Until next time.